I'm tired, man. Let's have some fun.
Thank you very much, Law. Wonderful interview with Mickey. Welcome to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz, joined by Deficio, by Perkz, and by Jankos. Congratulations. Reverse sweep, 5 games.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Super interesting games overall. Can I get a first reaction across the board of about the series and the win, Jankos?
Well, so obviously we wanted the most practice on stage as we could get. So we kind of
Why not?
lost the 2 games and then we just started playing real game. No, I mean, honestly, I'm quite surprised that Fnatic played really well, but I also think we played pretty poorly in the first 2 games especially. And the TF caught us off guard, or maybe didn't catch us off guard, but I felt like we were like really inting all of us, you know? So since we've just played bad and Fnatic played good, then yeah, we just lost 2 games. And then with better drafts, better preparation, and just being tilt-proof, we won.
Tilt-proof.
Yeah, this is like the first reverse sweep of my life. But like we have like, usually when I'm 2-0 down, I always lose the 3rd game. But Caps never lost the 3rd game when he was 2-0 down. So we had this like, we said after 0-2 down, like Caps said, okay, we win the 3rd game. And then I never lost 1-3 in Europe. So we obviously win the 4th game. We win the 4th, like, it was actually,
Right.
we said it, no, we said it.
Yeah,
like,
we actually did,
we win the 3rd game because Caps never lost 3rd game. And then we win the 4th game because I never lost 4th game. And then both me and Caps never lost 5th game. So how could we actually ever lose?
Fnatic never lost after being up 2-0.
Okay.
So like you guys had some other magic going
Guess
on.
there has to be first time for
everything.
Yeah, for everything.
Absolutely crazy series. Funny, by the way, you didn't hear the Mickey interview, but Law asked Mickey, you know, what was going on here, and she just burned Deficio super hard, or he did. He said, well, last split it was so uninteresting, so we wanted to make it more interesting and give the viewers a bit more and make it a reverse sweep.
And I told you guys, movement
That was
wins
insane.
games.
Yeah.
Movement wins games.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
That was insane.
I'm just saying it happened to me when I played against Caps back in the day, so I know
Yeah.
the feeling, Broxta.
That
There
was
we
pretty good too.
So
This is like
tell me then.
Clubs showed up game 3, I mean game 4.
And regarding the Mickey thing, by the way, I
Yeah.
do want to say once TF got banned, the last 3 games actually looked like our series against them. Where the first one, which was game 3, super close. And then you lose that one, and game 2 and 3, or 4 and 5 in this case,
Yeah.
just like you just get stomped.
Perkz, what Mickey said, which you'll probably agree with, is the moment all the mobility got banned out and the TF wasn't there anymore and the Shen wasn't there anymore and there was less ability for Fnatic to use those champs and the Yumi to make plays, it was a different game and you guys had it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're like really, I don't know, they're really good with those champs, but it's not only because they're really good with those champs, it's because those champs actually just counter us. Like, we like to fight a lot, and if they have like TF ult or Nocturne ult, which is like global range, then they will just counter our fighting by being there. I mean, they have to be there. So yeah, they just had like really good jobs against, and usually like I did mention a couple of times, just ban TF against Fnatic, just ban it, guys. It's a reason why you lose every game to this champ.
But they
Why
didn't
didn't
listen to you?
No,
Okay,
they don't
we
respect
thought they
you
don't
at
play
all?
it. We really thought that they don't play TF. And then
What? They played
peaked it.
TF all split?
Yeah, but like, maybe it's not as good anymore, but it was kind of good.
So is
I
that
mean-
the first 2 games? Was that then the, well, we'll let it through, what's the worst that can happen?
I mean, second game, I felt like, yeah, we thought TF was not the issue.
Okay, I think
and
second game was TF was not the issue though. Second game, my team was hinting.
Bot should have won second
But I
game.
guess.
For sure. Even
we
though
were
there's a
really
TF.
ahead, yeah.
They should have won bot lane, and then it would have been a lot easier, but it became Caps alone having to carry because bot lane not winning, and then TF obviously just
But
comes
to be
back.
honest, I was kind of fed, so my team just kept
Yeah,
fighting.
but you-
My team kept fighting without me in mid game, and then Ezra got like 4 kills, and Ezra was really OP. So game 5 I had to pick Ezra because it's really OP champ. So
Yeah.
But then we didn't really get to late game,
yeah, it's true.
I guess.
No, you didn't.
They forgot about the 2 that's power spec.
It was super close.
Should we talk about Mordekaiser?
I wanted to, so go ahead.
Can
How
you
does
explain
he work?
the Mordekaiser pick?
Oh, like usually my team always said like, yeah, Mordekaiser, like Yumi is so hard counter Mordekaiser, and then we all thought like, what if we play Mordekaiser against Garen bot because it's like kind of free lane, and I think in scrims it worked out, but I'm not sure if like Reckless and Hillsong are just the best Garen Yumi in the world, or
Probably.
The problem came from me TPing top level 5
Maybe.
when I said maybe I should not TP, and it's like TP, it's good, and then I missed Q flash.
So the
And
TP
then they
wasn't the
got
issue,
3 kills top side, and then like, I mean, I still think this can work against Garen Yumi, but I think like we heavily misplayed it, and it's still like kind of risky because you just don't have the late games, like you don't have AD carry basically, and they have like TF Yumi, so they have like really OP hyper carry. So I think it's risky to play it, but it worked better than it showed on stage. So.
Okay. So maybe we'll see it again. Jankos, we had a
Probably
big
not.
discussion. We had a big discussion about everything that could happen in this game, and we were talking about you and what an incredible split you've had or a year you've had so far, and that there's like two ways to look at what you do for G2. One is, well, all my lanes are doing well, so all I have to do is show up and assist, or I have to babysit all of these guys because right now they're just running it down or they're overextending and they're not getting the kills. Which one was it today?
Well, I mean, I think in the first 2 games, I really felt like if we go through review, I would just say that, guys, like, you really need help everywhere. Like, I can't just, like, not farm and go top mid bot, even though maybe you can get kills. It's, like, not sure, right? So I felt like in first 2 games, we were, like, kind of in sync. But yeah, second game, I guess we should have won, but we just threw it. And then I think 5th game, all my lanes were winning, and I didn't really have to do that much. And then, yeah, 4th, 3rd game were it's just in between, where we really did play as a team. And I mean, 3rd game was really close. I also stole the Nash, I guess. But
Yeah,
I
tell
mean,
me about the comeback, because it was almost completely over, right? It was 3-0 almost, and then you
yeah,
get it back.
I mean, we had
Almost,
really good
important
scaling,
word.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very important Perkz.
I mean, I don't know. I think like there is just like this aura with G2 that you just like don't really lose late game. You know, like we have late game. we have the scaling. We have the scaling.
Your smug face right
Yeah,
now.
the
I'm just
scaling.
imagine everyone at home who voted against G2 and is like that smug Perkz, and now he just sees
Oh,
you
it's getting
sitting there, like,
posted everywhere.
almost.
It's
Yeah,
marble
it's just
nice.
a word, isn't it? There's this aura that
Honestly, like
G2
okay,
has.
after game one, I thought, yeah, it happens. Like the karma is biting us. You know, like we are gonna lose.
We are really cocky,
Then after
yeah.
game two. After game 2, I actually just thought, like, okay, guys, what is going on right now, you know? Like, and then we like talked about it a bit, and we're like, okay, we have to like stop fighting less, or like maybe fight more.
Fight more and Bantier, right? So he can
Bantier
show up.
was the
and
key
then-
one.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're going to take a look at the Baron steal. So that's what... Before that, you were also getting better in the fights in that game. But Jankos, tell us again why you are just the best jungler on the planet.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, yeah, I think they're like a bit trolling by starting a Nash and making 50-50. And since already in game 1 and game 2 I lost the 50-50 and I was not able to steal the Nash, then I guess the 3rd time it happened, you know, we got the Nash, we got decent fight as well after. So I felt like when we got the Nash and we could stall the game for another 7-8 minutes, we had it in the bag.
Yeah.
Because the late game was spiking.
You did. I was kidding, of course, but you are playing very, very well. I do want to talk about Fnatic as well, just because not a lot of us had expected them to play as well as they did. And obviously, you guys said it yourself, you weren't playing your best games in games 1 and 2. That's clear. But they also showed a lot of things I didn't expect them to. They were very convincing in their early game. Mechanically, they outplayed you guys, I would say, also in the first 2 games, or more than the ones that came after. So what can you say about Fnatic and how they showed up today, Perkz?
I think they were just winning every lane, the first couple of games, or like, I mean, there is like, let's say some games, I would say 2 out of 3 our lanes lost per game, and it would vary from game to game. 1 game we lost, 1 game Wunder lost, 1 game Caps lost, and some games we lost altogether. So I would say we were like misplaying on laning phase, and then I think they played really well. I mean, I think they are actually like, they have like this like inconsistency problems as like they were kind of breaking down as later stages of the series, but I think they can like really show up with roles as well. I think just Europe is strong. I think Europe is just a strong region, and looking at playing against Fnatic, I think it's maybe going to be harder than against some international teams. So I'm excited to see basically how Europe matches against other teams.
I'm so glad you said that, because that realization was kind of growing as to, okay, what does this mean? Well, it might just mean that Fnatic is also very strong and that Europe is stronger than we thought, because we don't know right now.
I mean, I'm glad to see that right now, if we look at playoffs, G2 and Fnatic, instead of it just being a 3-0, it was actually a close series. And then you have 2 teams who can really call themselves world-class at the moment. I think that's great. We don't know who the 3rd team is going to be. Someone is biased for 1 team, but that's not relevant right now. But I think having 2 like world-class teams at least is great. And yeah, I mean, we had a world finalist. We had G2 getting to semis last year too. G2 winning MSI. Like, you can only be hyped about Europe right now. No one can say it was a fluke or anything. You have to be hyped about Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all pretty hyped. I did find it interesting that, as you say, you guys just been memeing and being cocky on Twitter and whatever. And you guys always do that, win or lose. And I think you also react well when you then don't win. But is it good that you kind of had a kind of a wake-up call in this best of 5, perhaps? That you lost those 2 games and that as you said, or yesterday we heard from Oduamne that someone was level 26 in WoW. So, did it wake you up into, okay, listen, we got to put all our focus into this?
Okay, well, let me start with the level 24 actually.
Level 24.
We don't get a lot of scrims because teams are either too scared to play against us or they cancel because they are just too scared after 3 games. So what happens is that we can't get scrims because we apparently demoralize the teams that we play against. So yeah, sure, if we can get scrims, I can play League of Legends, but we can't get scrims.
So you've not scrimmed?
No, I mean we did, but like
not against the ones you'd want to.
And to be honest, we get better practice against like academy teams or like challenger teams than against LEC teams, because LEC teams try to like play for ego. They try to like kill lane, win lane or something, but they always like most of the times they like just lose in this style. Whereas like academy teams, they actually try to play like game. They try to play together as a team. And also, just to mention to Jankos, I don't think that WoW is the problem we are losing or like playing bad. I think the problem is our scrims are just bad, our behavior. I think, I mean, I don't really speak for my teammates, and from my perspective, I'm trying like really hard to like not lose, because this is what I'm afraid of the most. Like I'm afraid of losing. So I would like, I think we're gonna have like some talk, to make our scrims a bit better, because this series has clearly showed all of our weaknesses from scrims. And yeah, once our scrims are better, then we should be even better on stage.
That is a scary thing, I guess, when it comes to the Worlds boot camp. If there are better practice,
how is G2 going to level
where
up?
does G2 go, Like, how much more can you put into the current G2 in terms of how they're playing? There obviously, as we saw today, are things to work on for sure. So I think that's going to make it very interesting when it comes to Worlds specifically. I'm actually just not sure if there's going to be that many other teams in scrims during Worlds who will not also play kind of like animal style against them. I'm not sure how it is scrimming SKT or whatever, but like at least with the Chinese teams, they're most likely going to play like a lot of the LEC teams, but maybe try and match a little bit better that way. So that's going to be very interesting.
I mean, it's like it goes for both teams. It also goes up to us. Like we can choose to play, to not go for this solo kill, or not go for this play and play for objective, but we don't really do that. And we try to like do it, which like the word is try, the key word is try.
I watched the scrims, yeah. I've seen how it is.
Yeah. Okay, very interesting insight into that. So, just scrim G2. What's the worst that can happen? Kia player of the series, Wonder, with 46% of the votes, rather. I think he heard all these people flaming him that he was in the all-pro team. It was like, okay, I can agree with everything, but maybe Wonder. He just decided to smurf here. You think Wonder deserves it in this one?
I mean, I think he like really carried with Kled one game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the third game was basically won by Kled, and the 5th game, I think we kind of, even though you could say that because he had a lot of kills, I felt like we played really as a team. And
you won
a lot
everywhere.
of the decisions were based on like us calling Wunder as well and not him just solo carrying. So I think he deserves it, yeah. I mean, he doesn't always get enough recognition. So, I mean, he's really good.
He is. How are you doing with your newfound status of all-pro team first? Is it getting to your head yet, Jankos?
I mean, I don't think it really matters for us, even though we are all-pro team and it sounds really good. Then we almost lost to Fnatic in a BO5, and people will probably laugh at us that we are the all-pro team.
The memes were ready.
Exactly, right? So I think that we should really get our heads in game in League of Legends this week, and we should try our best to make the finals more one-sided for us and prepare also better against Fnatic if they do make it through Schalke. Because I think then playing without, I think we played really badly, like I mentioned before, but I also think we didn't have enough practice into like global composition that Fnatic played with their, UMTF Nocturne kind of thing. And I think since they showed everything they had, Schalke could also prepare really well against them. So I don't know who will win that one, but I'm really confident still going into Sunday next week and performing better than today.
Yeah, Perkz, do you want to react to the all-pro thing or?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm pretty happy that we are all-pro team. I guess, like I don't know, we are. I think we played well throughout this regular season to deserve it. So don't really mind too much or not mind too much. Well, it's nice to get recognition though for playing good in your role. That's always nice. And
I mean, you're the first person to get it in 2 roles, so that's cool.
Cool. Nice.
I mean, what?
No,
That's
it's true.
Huge.
No,
That's
it's
huge.
true. It's true. I mean, it's pretty. I'm pretty. I'm pretty impressed by myself.
Oh my God.
I have to say.
Let's move away from this all pro. We're looking at it a little bit
my
right
AD
now.
carry is really good, okay? And let's just like
I have to
leave
say,
it at
like,
that.
I'm pretty impressed.
Bot laner.
Oh, my bot laner, yeah.
Yeah,
He plays everything, so.
I'm an AD and AP player for G2 Esports.
Yep. Okay, let's take a look at the bracket. G2 is going to play in the finals in Athens. Fnatic will face Schalke the day before in the semi-final. So, yeah, pretty hyped overall. I think if you're looking from an unbiased perspective, I'm personally just glad it went to 5 games, and I would have been glad with either team taking it at the end of the day and not just a stomp either way, because a lot of people were afraid that that was going to happen to Deficio. How do you think Schalke versus Fnatic is going to play out?
Well, I think with what the Fnatic showed today just confirms even more that they're heavy favorites, at least for me, against Schalke. Even if they showed the TF kind of global comp, I think Fnatic playing some of the drafts they did, at least in game 3 and 4. No, game 3. 4 was very one-sided draft-wise, but game 3 they can beat Schalke with that for sure. So I think 3-1 Fnatic in the semifinal. And then, depending on TF ban or not in the final, we will see what the prediction is.
We'll see what happens. Perkz, do you think that because you went 5 games and you saw everything, the final is going to be very convincing for you?
I think we do have to play better for us to be convincing, because, as Deficio said, basically like in game 3 they played normal comp and we were still like, not really doing well. Like we were playing from behind, and they could have closed the game out, right, if they were a bit better. So the thing is, I'm just not sure how they're gonna deal with this loss. Like, I mean, I've never been reverse swept in my life, but I can imagine like it actually hurts, you know, because you're like stomping, and then like game 3 you're like winning really hard, kind of, and then you lose, and then you just get reverse swept. Like that just has to suck, honestly. Karma is gonna hit me, but like I don't know. It just kind of like I hope they can pick themselves up and like be kind of like happy with how they played, or like not happy, but like at least know they can be good. And then we have a really good team next week in Athens and also at Worlds, and that's like kind of what's important for us to have like to have competition, to have someone to practice with, and be a good partner.
I think a positive for Fnatic, even in now a really annoying situation, is the fact it basically confirmed to Fnatic as well that the global comp was super effective against G2. And they might be able to find other things they can play that kind of fits the same style against them. That's something they can prepare. Obviously, they have to go through Schalke first. So that's a positive. Maybe they have to figure out if there are other ways. Like the game 3, I think they can look at quite a lot with the normal drafts. Like what did they do well? How did they get the early lead? And is that something they can do again on stage? Because I think 4 and 5 was fairly heavily G2 favored in draft, which made it very difficult for Fnatic to play. And the moment you lose draft to G2 and they're actually hitting their skill shots, you're probably going to get run over.
It's probably going to be difficult. Before we move on, the last thing I want to talk about is when we were watching this series, and this happens a lot, we were talking about this with Frosk as well, considering the LPL. When you watch these games, like the games 3, the ones that are very scrappy, it's very skirmish heavy, there's always fights, there's this idea of, okay, well, the level can't be very high because it's not macro-based or going for objectives of having a plan because they're just fighting all the time. But it becomes this new high-level game where all these small interactions and mechanical interactions and decisions that you make in a split second have to be at such a high level. So, you know, it's hard to say, was this a really good series? Was this high-level League of Legends or not? I'm inclined to say yes, Deficio. But, you know, it's an interesting discussion.
I mean, I just think with the way the game is being played now, if you don't have the micro, you can't have the macro. And I think also macro's changed. It's not the super like, oh, how much wave clear do we have? And then we place a couple of wards and then we go for 5v5 at Dragon and then whatever, you know. I actually think there's so much now in terms of TP timings, in terms of understanding if you have numbers advantage, how fast can you kill someone if it is a 3v3, which will become a 3v4. But so you have to kill someone really quick if you want to go for the fight. Like, there's a million small things in skirmishes that you have to constantly think about, which in itself is also kind of macro. Like, you can just change what an objective is. It doesn't have to be a Drake. It can literally be get a TP, blow a flash, secure 1 kill for my top laner so he has priority and he can now roam next time or whatever. So I think in these games, it's always going to look really messy when both teams want to fight a lot. And yes, you make more mistakes in this kind of game than if it's like 2015 super slow late game League of Legends.
What do you think, Perkz and Jankos, because you've been playing for a long time, right? How would you describe kind of the meta or the way you win games nowadays?
I think the game is different from what it was back in the day, and right now you have so many objectives, like Drake, for example, in the early game, that it's really important to like fight for it, because if you give it up for free, you might lose lanes if it's Ocean, or maybe they'll outscale you if it's Infernal, and if they get a Mountain, they can like kind of one-shot Nash. That happened in our series twice, I think. In the second game where they had Mountain Drakes, they would like do Nash so fast. So I feel like since Riot buffed the early game like quite a lot, right now everyone is going for those skirmishes, and also more ganks happen as a jungler. You want to get ganks over farm, because that will actually make you way more ahead than in the past, where if you would farm and get a successful gank, then you'd be like 5-5, or maybe the farming jungle will be ahead. So I think just the game evolved is just different, and I still think they fight too much in LPL, but they can prove me wrong during Worlds, like they did.
I think we fought a lot today in LEC.
This looked very much like an LPL game.
Yeah.
Okay, so but today we agreed that we played bad at least the first two games.
I think the game is like really high tempo. So even though it looked bad, it's like I think like just looking back and just thinking about the games, like I think Fnatic like played like super well and pressured really hard, and even the Nashes they got, like at least like some of them were like really actually well set up.
Insane.
It was like really good Nash calls what they were doing. So that's like not a lot of teams who do these Nash calls, and I think the Fnatic just decision making will like take them over Schalke, I would say. But what was it about the meta? Yeah, I mean it's a lot different than before, obviously, because at least I was like taught by my teammates in season 6 to like play around jungle and like let jungle farm. And it was different because jungle was a carry meta and they had wards. So jungle would farm and they would put wards, and then you would actually not be able to get ganked. But right now there is no wards, and everyone is starting sweepers, because sweepers are really imbalanced. They can you can move them around the whole map. I mean, like, around the whole river basically. So you can't really even ward if the enemy like wants to have sweeper, right? So it's like becomes very snowball heavy, and I think it's just normal that kills happen, because there is, as he mentioned, Drakes and Heralds, and also there is 6 TPs in the game almost every single game.
Yeah.
Like 6 TPs, that's like so disgusting. You have to think about every single TP, and on every TP they have, you can either get dive top or bot. So like when I was watching LCK today, for example, in the morning, and there was like games there was like 2 games, there was like no kills in the first 10 minutes of the game. I couldn't understand how this is actually happening. So that's what I'm wondering, how that happens in LCK when SKT was actually really aggressive at MSI, and they were playing really good. I thought SKT was a really good team, but in LCK, it seems the games are all slower. So I just want to, I'm really curious to see how these like regions will match, you know, because it's, I don't know, it's very hard to say.
About like the whole last thing, I've been told to move on, but this is just so interesting. We've been hearing plans from Worlds and Scrims and stuff that you guys are obviously here in Europe, and that NA teams may come over to Europe, but then that the LCK might train the most with the LPL over in the East, is the last thing we've heard, right?
Still probably expect them to come
But they will
to
come
Europe,
over,
obviously,
of
a
course,
little
just
bit before.
later. Do you think that will have any impact on kind of, will there be 2 styles, and will that work in your favor or not, or any ideas, Jankos?
I think that even in the past, when we went to Korea to bootcamp, a lot of the Asian teams would deny us scrims because either they wouldn't want to show something, or maybe they thought we are too bad. So when we went to Korea, it was like kind of pointless, because we scrimmed the same teams that we would scrim in Europe and maybe an A. And yeah, some days you'll have like an Asian team, right? So I think that Europe is pretty good now, and looking at Fnatic, they're like a super strong team, and I believe Team Liquid is pretty good too. So I think we'll have decent scrim partners, and then see how it works for us during Worlds. You know, maybe it's like the big mistake and we'll get absolutely demolished, but I don't think so.
Well, your life sucks, man. First you couldn't get scrims because you were too bad, and now you can't get scrims because you're too good. Awful.
You have to remember, this could also be bad for the Asian teams, that they don't get to go to Europe early and play against G2 and these teams, because you're all going to draft your own little picks and have your own little meta, and then you face someone else and you realize it doesn't work.
So we have to move on. Final reaction is that SKT won today, and FLICKR said specifically that he wanted to meet G2 at Worlds, that he wanted to get that revenge. Can I get a reaction? Or he didn't use the word revenge, but he used like he wants a rematch.
I want to meet SKT. I would like. I'm like a huge FLICKR fanboy, so beating him again would be like really nice.
Exactly the same. we are overall FLICKR fanboys, so meeting SKT again and being able to to beat them would be
Yeah,
insane.
you know,
We
play
would also
long
like
enough
to beat
for-
SKT. Just adding that in there.
Play long enough and play well enough that your idols
My
become your
Syndra 2-0
rivals.
against FLICKR.
You
Alright.
say that every time. It's so
Just
funny.
saying. Just saying.
The bot lane Syndra against FLICKR. So we're going to close out the week now. I'd love to chat more, but, you know, we need to give people a break. But we are going to take another look at the best moments from the Rift in our Alienware Big Plays. First up, it's a big one after 4 years in the league. Odoamne, he finally got a pentakill, giving Rogue the mark of the storm.
As soon as that black shield goes down, there's going to be that window while you're waiting for such a critical cooldown where Sjokz are going to try to force their chances.
The longest flanks in known history.
Oh, Walleye gets stunned.
And he takes a lot of damage. Walleye down to half HP on the backline, but he's still alive. Abadage goes in. Abadage goes down. But here comes Odo. He slices through them all. And Ignar's going to chase down Larson as well. Like Walleye has already done. Larson tries to flash away, but it's a quadra kill for Odo. It's a quadra kill for Odo. And Sjokz win out the decisive fight. Ignar gets to participate now. He stops Finn from getting back to the base. He stops Finn from looking for the back door. And meanwhile, Upset and Trick are pushing into the base. The Nexus towers stand before them, but there's no one left to defend. And it's Odo. It's the Odo story today. The pentakill after his team put their faith in them.
Slowly on fire.
I'm moving slowly.
I'm fine. I'm looking. Guys, slowly
Look
on
at
fire.
this. Look me.
They're really low, really low. Look. Yeah. Corky's in the GA. Corky in GA. Look here. Corky.
It's not over yet.
Corky,
guys.
Corky, Corky. Okay, guys, one guy defend, one guy defend, one guy defend. Okay.
Cannon dev.
Your old teammate. Good. First pentakill he ever got.
I mean, I'm really happy for Odo, but I also felt like, well, this game was weird because of Larsen. And also what happened is that I think Abadage kind of smurfed. His ult was really good and he chanked everyone, but I mean, obviously Odo like did the work right and he got Penta is insane, but I also felt like Abadage should get a bit of recognition for that Akali like 5-man or 4-man.
Also Ignar.
Love it. Yeah.
Big
And
part of
Ignar,
that
yeah.
fight.
Ignar was just laughing.
He just ran all the way. He never even got in there until the
Ignar
very
is
end.
really a flanker, a massive flanker.
That was a sick play.
So he was like all over the map. It was crazy. Good stuff by them. And it wasn't just the veteran that carried from the top lane for Rogue in the games they won, Rogue's Finn. He also had a great rookie split, but everyone is left wondering, how old is he exactly?
Stepping into darkness, Rogue know that their playoff hopes might rest on this. The charm comes out, it's Walleye, he's caught, but he jumps away. He doesn't live to survive another day. Larson needs to open up, needs to do the damage, but he's down as well. And now it's all on Finn, trying to catch out Trick, he's stun locked, he goes golden. Abadage has the damage if they can keep Finn away from the Corki. Now he's going to run away, but he goes back in, looking for Ignar, heals up. The Infernal Chains don't quite connect. Abadage is still there, he's locked up as well, but Trick comes in with the Arctic Assault, and it's Finn, he's doing it all. It's Finn, he's 17 years old, and he is carrying this fight. It's Finn once again.
Raka no spells. Okay.
Flash. A Q2. I have TP when I went to stand up TP. I think we can Nash. We're gonna Nash. We're gonna
Nice.
open.
Go. Back. Kite.
No flash, no flash.
Play around Abba. Kite. Yeah.
Abi, your flash as well. No flash, no flash.
Abba, you can just auto him, I think, and flash out if needed.
He has no E, no E.
Oh my god. I think back.
Can you live if I TP?
No. He's dead.
Maybe if they had two upsets, maybe they would win that fight because apparently like you
Just auto him.
Oh
my god.
He's 20, by the way, Finn, not 17, but still impressive though. Finally, earlier Caps danced around in the mid lane with Syndra, and with the force of will, he and G2 took us to game 5.
Looking for a dive mid.
Fnatic, they want to go mid, not bot.
All right, no flash available. Caps is going to need to find some sort of stun or ultimate. He actually just gets chunked out. Take a look at that. The Hex and Caps turns it around. Praise from Garabs backstage.
But I can't TP. Let's go. No E.
No flash.
I don't think I can hear, by the way.
I'm coming.
I should have ulted you.
Herald will go bot now right now.
That's Tyrell. Damn it.
I'll look for TP.
Yes, stopwatch.
I'm moving.
I'm TPing.
The Gagas is dead.
Oh my god.
You're so fucking
Oh my god, you're actually the best player in the world.
Okay, I TP it though. I TP it.
I just thought he was going to say, I'm smurfing.
You know what this reminds me of? The
What?
very first time Caps played against Perkz in the mid lane, Caps was playing Ryze, Perkz was on the Syndra. And he was also dancing around skill shots, and then he snares him on the turret and kills him. And we yelled "Baby Faker" for the first time.
Oh.
And then there's this clip like for the rest of my career.
Yeah, that clip actually reminded me of that.
Even in like Hype Teaser 2018, they put this clip.
I know, you trained him for this. You started this whole thing.
You were just like...
No, but we also have a saying on our team like, movement wins games, not macro. That's actually a proof. Movement wins games. Better movement wins. So you just have to have better movement than our enemy team and you will win.
Just one. Yeah, Caps did great also today. Of course, you can watch it all again if you missed any of the action. You can catch our rebroadcast of G2 versus Fnatic. It's going to start in a few minutes, so, you know, get a snack, watch it for another 4 hours, maybe fast forward the pauses, but that will be all. Thank you. I know. I'm not going to bring it up. Thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations. Can't wait to see you in Athens, and hopefully it'll be another 5 games. Can't wait to see you in Athens.
Hopefully.
And at Worlds.
And yes, in any capacity. Thank you so much.
Obviously.
Okay, we're going to sign off. We'll be back next Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, remember, not Friday and Saturday, for the main event of the summer. We'll see you in Athens for our semifinal and our finals of the LEC. Good night.
Nemesis is going to run for his life. Gold Core Prime! The Obliterate goes wide! And the gameplay is not doing enough just yet. It's going to slow Perkz where he stands. Brox against Perkz. It's one back for Jankos. Gold Core again! Caps is trying to buy some time. Wonder comes in from the teleport. He's looking for Megalon. Here comes Jankos. Gets a kick back. It's a double cost though. Jankos manages to pick the kill to Flippo. Deficio Justice comes down for Reckless.
So, Mickey ate a lot of work in the Props to Reckless. That was great.
Reckless is going forward. He's flashed in for it. He manages to take down Perkz.
They got Perkz and now Proxa has flash. They can extend if they want to. They can chase these people down for forever. Nemesis gets another kill. Fnatic are popping up and G2 don't stand a chance.
If we take 1 or 2 games, can they bounce back and still win? That is a good question.
Wonder did not want to lose the mounted position on Kled, so he was backing away. Now in the mid lane, Nemesis is looking for Caps. Caps is in trouble! All right, Mickey's trying to help out Wonder. Oh, that's already a kill to Flippo. Nemesis is now being focused down. Perkz manages to kill Reckless. Nemesis is taken out by Caps. All right, no flash available. Caps is going to need to find some sort of stun or ultimate. He actually just gets chunked out. Take a look at that. The Hex and Caps turns it around. Just a reminder, it's been 372 days since a Game 5 has happened in Europe. No Game 5 in LEC at all. There's 30 seconds left on Baron.
Now, with almost everything in their favor, they're diving under the
Yeah,
towers.
they absolutely are. That's another kill onto Helisang. And now Brox is underneath the tower. The tower simply is not even enough. Reckless, gets caught by the Mystic Shot. While that's happening, Caps is pushing into the base. It's still a potential pre-20-minute win. Knockup will catch Reckless. He's running for his life. Here comes Caps. That's so many members dead. G2's dominance has been truly challenged, but they were not conquered. G2 continue to rule Europe.